Shakespeare Festival St. Louis has offered free professional theater to the community for 17 years, and they'll be returning to Forest Park with a new production in June. Joining me is Artistic and Executive Director of Shakespeare Festival St. Louis, Rick Dildine. It's great to see you.
Great to be back. Thanks for having me.
Yes, we look forward to seeing you every year to talk about the festival season, which kicks off in just 4 weeks, four weeks from now. Yeah. So what's the production this year?
This year's show is The Winter's Tale, which is one of Shakespeare's, probably not one of his more well-known plays, but definitely one of the most dramatic plays.
We'll talk about it. Let's talk about the synopsis. I know from what I've read, it involves all the things that never seem to go away.
Yeah, it's got a lot of, it really covers the entire human condition. It's a story of a family that begins with a belief that there has been a betrayal that has happened between the father and the mother. And what we get to watch is an entire play of redemption, forgiveness, sin, betrayal, and it's both tragic and comedic at times too. There's a little bit for everybody in this one.
Right. No, and that's sort of the beauty, I think, of Shakespeare is that I mean, 400 years. This play was written in 1610. Is that correct?
Right, 1610.
So here we are, more than 400 years away, and it's still sort of applicable. All these things. I mean, that's sort of, would you not say, the beauty of Shakespeare's work?
Yeah, and you know, this is towards the end of his writing, and over the years, scholars have given him a lot of grief about this because it seems like we didn't know what he was trying to write. Was he trying to write a comedy? Was he trying to write a tragedy? But I think that's the strength of him as a playwright, is he's gotten to a point in his life as an artist that he sees all of these aspects within the human condition.
And is able and put it to stage. Well, what are some of the highlights? Tell us about the director and the cast.
Yeah, so this year's director is Bruce Longworth. So audiences would remember him he directed Hamlet for us in 2010. Okay. There's all live music in the show. We've commissioned all brand new music. It's written by a local St. Louis band called the Rats and People Motion Picture Orchestra Company. Wow. That's their real name. And they've written all the music for it, and they're actually going to be playing live on stage during the show. For every night of the performance? Every night.
That's fantastic. And what about some of the other cast members?
There's over 20 people in the show. This is our most experienced cast to date as far as being out there. Everybody in the show has been there at least once. There's only 4 new cast members, so a very experienced cast out there.
And I think what some people may not recognize is, although a lot of sometimes the cast is local, you're bringing in people from all over.
Yeah, all over the country. So Chicago, New York, LA, we bring them in from all over the place.
Okay, well, let's get into just some of the details, the basics. So the festival, as we talked about, is free, and it's nightly except for
Tuesdays. So every night, Green Show begins at 6:30. The Green Show is music. There's a family arts and crafts section. There's a 20-minute summary of the play. There's food out there, of course, as well. That starts at 6:30, and the show at 8 o'clock.
At 8 o'clock, and it's again every night before 2. And I mean, when you go, I think it is about the experience. I mean, you've just sort of alluded to the Green Show, but what would you say is the experience? Because every summer, I mean, when everyone's headed to the festival, because you see everyone walking around with their bags, with their blankets, getting ready to enjoy this outdoor experience. How do you really describe this? Because it really is quite unique for to have this in St. Louis.
Yeah, there's only a handful of these Shakespeare festivals in the country. Last year, we surpassed 1 million people have been out to the park, which is tremendous. But people are bringing their picnics. They're bringing their own creations of food. They're sitting, they're eating, they're drinking wine, eating cheese, having a good time. And then they get to see the show all for free. Yeah,
it's really, really something that's spectacular. We've got the information there for you on the screen. It's coming up. It is Shakespeare Festival St. Louis. This year's production is The Winter's Tale. It runs from June 2nd through the 25th at Shakespeare Glen, Forest Park. And you can go to sfstl.com. Before we go, you mentioned with the Green Experience food, I know last year you partnered with Schlafly, is that correct?
Yeah.
How is that still?
We got a whole new beer this year. It's called The Winter's Ale. So they've created a whole new beer for us again. That'll be out there in the park as well.
And so with food, everything you just purchased there on site?
Yep, we've got the beer out there. We also have picnics that you can buy through us at our website, sfstl.com.
Okay, all right. Well, there's the information there for you again. Shakespeare Festival, St. Louis, June 2nd through the 25th, The Winter's Tale. For more information, go to sfstl.com. But stay with us at STL Live. We'll have more with Rick Dildine right after this.